Right from the moment we're born, we're handed this simple, incredibly sacred rule: love your parents. It's basically the absolute foundation of family, of gratitude, and of what it means to be a quote-unquote good person. But let's dive into something a bit tougher for this explainer. What exactly happens when that devotion comes at a really high price? Today, we're exploring what it means when you find yourself sacrificing your own happiness and your own identity just to keep that bond intact.
It's a heavy thought, right? What happens when loving your parents feels, well, less like a warm embrace and more like a cage? Now, if you're feeling a pang of guilt just for even thinking that, let me stop you right there. It is so incredibly common. I want to be super clear right up front. This explainer is specifically for those of you who love your parents almost too much at the expense of your own joy. It's for the ones desperately trying to find some balance. If you've survived toxic parents and had to make the agonizing choice to go completely no contact, your journey is entirely valid. But we're mapping out a slightly different path today.
To figure out why we feel this way, we have to look at the cultural blueprints we're handed, because traditional expectations are wildly different depending on where you look. In a lot of Eastern cultures, family is literally everything. You might live with your parents well after you get married. Compare that to many Western cultures, where you're fully expected to move out, get your own place, and maybe visit, once a month. But here's why this is absolutely crucial today. In our globally connected world, these lines are completely blurring. You're juggling worldly influences, massive career pressures, and let's be honest, the skyrocketing cost of just existing. Trying to navigate traditional devotion inside this modern pressure cooker is incredibly tough on our mental health. Something's gotta give. So, here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover the cost of devotion, the blurring cultural lines, the 4 signs of enmeshment, the path to reclamation, and finish up with a message for parents. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. 4 signs of enmeshment. Diagnosing the cost.
The really fascinating thing about unhealthy love is that it's rarely about hating your parents. Usually, you love them so much that you completely sacrifice yourself. It ends up being this transaction where you're constantly giving, but your emotional account, it's never replenished. So how do you know if your love has crossed that line? Well, it almost always shows up as one of these 4 undeniable symptoms of enmeshment. Let's walk through them.
Okay, sign number 1. You are the parent. Psychologists actually call this parentification. This happens when you, the kid, are just handed an adult's toolkit. Instead of being protected, you somehow become the emotional caretaker, the therapist, the financial advisor, or the emotional anchor for your own parents. You were told to fix grown-ups' problems, and tragically, you were literally never allowed to just be a kid.
To put this into perspective, just think about Rory and Lorelai from Gilmore Girls. On the surface, everyone loves their tight-knit bond, right? But if you look a little closer, that bond was born from forcing a child, Rory, to become the mature, peacekeeping adult in the room from a super early age, all because her mom was trying to escape her own past. It's a textbook example of learning to manage your parents' feelings long before you figure out your own.
Moving on to sign number 2. Your boundaries are basically treated as mere suggestions. You might say, hey, please don't call me after 9 p.m., and they call it 9:01. Or you say, I really can't lend you any more money, and they lay on a guilt trip so thick that you just instantly cave. The kicker here is that your very love for them is weaponized. It's used to make you feel like a bad, selfish child whenever you just ask for basic respect. If we want another pop culture mirror, look at the dynamic in Ginny and Georgia. It's this absolute whirlwind of intense love, sure, but it completely ignores personal space. It's kind of like having a parent who acts like a ghost, just walking right through your freshly built fence again and again. And what that teaches you, deep down, is that your needs simply don't matter. Sign number 3 is that your identity is basically just a reflection of what they want. Your career choices, who you date, your hobbies, it all has to meet their approval. You're living in this constant fear of their disappointment. It's totally like Lizzie McGuire. Remember her animated alter ego? That little cartoon is the real her, just screaming to get out. But in the real world, her actions are totally dictated by what her parents and teachers expect. Listen, if you don't know who you are without their validation, your life isn't really your own. It's just a mirror they've held up to you since birth. And finally, sign number 4. Guilt is your native language. You literally feel guilty for your success, your happiness, or honestly just for existing. Think of the charismatic but totally heartbreaking dad from The Glass Castle. He makes you feel that love is conditional on your sacrifice. The love feels like a gift, but it comes with a receipt, and they can cash it in for your obedience at any given moment. You end up internalizing this toxic message that your life is just a debt you can never fully repay.
Section 2. The path to reclamation. Changing how you love.
So if you were just nodding along to any of those signs, what do you actually do? Well, you don't have to stop loving your parents, but we are going to shift from confrontation to reclamation. Here's your 4-step framework for healing. Let me tell you, transitioning from an enmeshed child to an autonomous adult is going to be one of the bravest, messiest journeys you'll ever take. Let's break these steps down.
Step 1 is all about grieving. You have to genuinely allow yourself to grieve for the childhood you didn't get to have. And honestly, for the parent you wish you had. It is completely 100% okay to be sad and angry about this. Acknowledging this profound loss isn't a betrayal of your family. It's just the absolutely necessary first step to healing a very real wound.
Step 2, quit your job. Now, I definitely don't mean your 9 to 5. I mean your job as their emotional caretaker. Your only real job is to live your own life. Now, this is the hardest step, for sure, because society and your own guilt are going to make it feel super selfish and wrong. But you absolutely must give yourself permission to prioritize your mental health. You are not responsible for their feelings.
Step 3 is building real boundaries. And there's a massive difference here you need to notice. A boundary is not a polite request, like, hey, please don't call after 9 p.m. A true boundary is a hard rule for your own well-being. I will not answer the phone after 9 p.m. And then, here's the trick. You actually don't answer. They're going to test it. They'll push back and probably call you selfish. Hold the line. Every single time you hold a boundary, you are fundamentally telling yourself, I matter.
Step 4, find your chosen family. You absolutely need to surround yourself with people who love you with zero strings attached. Find people whose affection doesn't require you to shrink yourself just to make them comfortable. Because when your parents make you forget who you truly are, your chosen family is going to act as a mirror, reflecting back your true, unhidden self.
This really brings our whole core thesis together beautifully. On one hand, unhealthy love, it demands sacrifice, it keeps you enmeshed and forces you to lose yourself. But healthy love is entirely about balance. It's about becoming an autonomous adult who can honor their parents without dishonoring themselves in the process. Sure, it's messy, but it leads to a life that is authentically yours. And man, that is a love worth fighting for.
Section 3, a message for parents, adapting together.
Now, if you're a parent watching this explainer, please know we aren't trying to shame anyone here. This is really about adapting together. Because, let's face it, the economic realities are just fundamentally different now. Back in the day, the expectation might have been to get a good career, get married, and then financially support your parents. But nowadays, with the sky-high cost of living practically everywhere, kids are often just trying to make enough to survive and take care of themselves. What we can do together is change these expectations, be a little more lenient with each other, and just adapt.
And for the adult children tuning in, I've got this absolutely brilliant metaphor for you to remember. Think of it like this. For the first 18 years of your life, you are basically a free trial for the My Parents' Dream software. But guess what? You're an adult now. Your subscription to their dream has expired. You can absolutely return the love they sacrificed to raise you, for sure. But you have to take care of your own wellness first.
So I want to leave you with a really powerful question to chew on. Are you going to just uninstall the software, or are you going to upgrade to the premium version where you actually get to choose the features of your own life? It's time to take your identity back. Now, if you're ready to start practicing these steps, I highly encourage you to check out the guided meditation for self-compassion from the 10-part series we mentioned in our sources. It's an amazing tool for learning how to set those really tough boundaries. You've got this. Keep up the great work, and I'll see you in the next explainer.